What's up, family? My name is Jimmie Scott Jr. and in this video I'm going to give you 5 of the best Bible stories that you can teach your kids. So one of the first stories that I want to tell you about is Daniel in the lion's den, which can be found in the book of Daniel, chapter 6. In this story, we're talking about a man named Daniel who prayed 3 times a day. And because he prayed so often, a lot of people didn't really like the fact that he was worshiping another god other than the king. So the king made a decree that anybody who didn't worship him was to be punished. And so therefore they threw Daniel in the lion's den with lions to be eaten up. I'm gonna stop right there and I ain't gonna spoil the story. Go read it. Read it to your kids. There's a lot of lessons in there that you can teach the kids, especially when it comes to serving God and not serving man, and sticking to your faith and beliefs, and also sticking to prayer. You know, there's a lot of lessons as it resorts to praying and how often Daniel prayed. So that's a good story that you can teach your kids. Another good story to teach your kids is the story of Jonah and the whale, which you can find in Jonah chapter 1, and you can read the entire book. The story of Jonah shows us of a man who was running from a calling that God had placed on his life and found himself eaten up by a large animal in the ocean. And see, a lot of kids like this story because it shows so many different events that happened to Jonah throughout the course of his life, of him running away from the Lord. All of these events leading to him being eaten up and being in the belly of a whale. Again, kids like animals. And so anytime you can incorporate a story with an animal in it and make it exciting and fun with the suspense and adventure that goes behind the character is always a win. Story number 3 that you can teach your kids is about Moses and the Exodus, which you can find in the entire book of Exodus from chapter 1 all the way through. See, Moses is one of the more popular characters that children may be aware of because of the things and the events that happened in the book of Exodus. A lot of kids are aware of all the different plagues that happen. A lot of kids are aware of the rod turning into a snake, or the water turning into blood, and all of these different things that they have shown on TV. Most kids are aware of the sea splitting in half. Bible story number 4 is the story of Noah's Ark, which you can find in Genesis chapter 7. Here's another one of those animal stories. See, the story of Noah is one of faith, as Noah really had to go off of his faith in God and trust in God about what God had planned to do with the world. Noah had to go around and gather one pair of every animal on the planet and gather all these animals on a boat. Kids love animals. And the 5th story that I want to give you, which is one of my personal favorite stories, is the story of David and Goliath, which can be found in 1 Samuel chapter 17. I love David and Goliath, man, mostly because of the fact of you got little guy and then you got big guy. You got no hope and then you got all the hope. None of his people believed that he could defeat Goliath. No one believed that he had all the capabilities of doing anything against the giant. For me, even as a kid, not being the first one picked in a lot of my groups and a lot of the things that I did, David and Goliath really resonated with me. This is a good story to teach kids that even though you may not be the first one out, you may not have all the physical capabilities, or you may not be the smartest, God can still use you to do enormous things that you yourself would have never imagined. Reading Bible stories is a great introduction for kids in learning the Bible because it brings a fun and entertaining element to the scriptures. If you're having trouble teaching your kids the Bible, or maybe you don't even know where to start, then make sure to check out this next video where I give you 5 tips on how to teach your kids the Bible. My name is Jimmie Scott Jr. and this is the Jimmie Jam Radio Show.